This game recap is brought to you by Manscaped's Foot Duster Foot Deodorant. Say goodbye to stinky foot funk with this essential deodorant spray. Head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The Foot Duster Foot Deodorant by Manscaped. The best protection any place below the waist.
Welcome into another episode of the Sac City Podcast. I'm your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined, as always, by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron the Meauxiah Meux, and I put an emphasis on the Meauxiah part because last night it was quite possibly the picture-perfect game for one Aaron Meux, because not only did he predict the Buffalo Bills to win, but he predicted an absolute ass whooping from the Bills onto the Los Angeles Rams. And although the game was 17-10 heading into the fourth quarter, it really didn't seem like it was close. But enough of me talking about it. Aaron, without further ado, let's get in to our Buffalo Bills, Los Angeles Rams, Week 1 Thursday Night Football highlight.
Yeah, it started early in this one. Defending Super Bowl champs taking on the Super Bowl favorites. And I told you about this guy in the offseason, Gabriel Davis, catching the pass there on the play action from Josh Allen. And then it was a former Ram making his impact early. It was Von Miller. He torched them all night long. Big reason why the Bills won this game. Aaron Donald didn't miss out on his turn either. It's probably one of the few highlights for him on the day. When they didn't double team him, he would make an impact there. Aaron Donald gets the sack. But in the second half, the Buffalo Bills would get the running game going. And that's really what this game was about to me. 121 yards on the ground. Started with Devin Singletary. Zach Moss got on the action. And then, of course, the most dangerous man in the red zone in the NFL is Josh Allen, showing the athleticism. Allen was all over the place in this one. And then the dagger here late in the fourth quarter. It's Josh Allen, and he finds arguably the best wide receiver in football. I know we're going to have this debate coming up. It's Stephon Diggs, and the Rams go and fall short, as I stated, 31-10. And if you want to call that fall short, feel free. But the Buffalo Bills put an ass whooping on the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, that they did. And yeah, Stephon Diggs finished 8 receptions on 122 yards and a tutty. Josh Allen in this game, he dominated as well, going 26 of 31, 297 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then to top it off, his rushing game was sick too. 10 carries, 56 yards, and a tutty on the ground. It was an absolute dominating performance from the Bills. What stood I was going to ask you what stood out the most from the Bills, but really it was everything. It was everything. Everything was great. But the first thing I want to talk about with the Bills, and it might be more fantasy talk, Zach Moss. In this game, he had a lot more touches than I expected. Zach Moss touched the ball. He had 6 carries on the ground. He had 6 catches as well. So 12 total touches for Zach Moss in this game. He was productive with his touches as well, I'd say. What do you think about what do you make, I should say, of the Rams backfield right now?
You mean the Bills backfield?
Bills. Sorry. Yes, Bills.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be made. I think everybody made a big deal about last year and what happened with Zach Moss. He was inactive. He had some things going on in his personal life. He had some injuries. They pointed those injuries out a number of times on the telecast. And then you think about it, the year before when he was a rookie, he had a really good year. So as far as being a rookie and being productive. So I think he looked fresh. I think he looked healthy. And I think this goes to show people we have to stop with the rookie hype so much. Everybody, and again, the fantasy conversation of everybody who drafted Bills running backs, James Cook was the first one taken. Sometimes over Devin Singletary. I'm telling you right now, Devin Singletary is the lead back in that Buffalo Bills, on the Buffalo Bills this season. Lead back, he will see the most touches, he will see the most carries, but Zach Moss is going to be that second guy until he shows that he can't be. Now, again, he fumbled as well, but Cook fumbled early in the game when it really mattered. That was a big deal. But I think we have to stop hyping up the rookies so much because they have a good preseason or they're supposed to be taken over. Like we gotta stop doing that.
Yeah,
the narrative it's the Brian Robinson argument for me with Antonio Gibson. It's the Romeo Doubs argument. Like this week. I'm interested to see about that. We just got to pump the brakes a little bit and let these rookies come in and find their footing. And then when you watch them play, decide whether they're really going to have that impact or not.
Yeah, the narrative I feel like is there so much with like in the offseason when you talk about James Cook, and it's like, okay, he was a great pass catching back at Georgia. He doesn't have like an insane amount of mileage on him, so you think the usage could be there as well. And I mean, the narrative is hopefully there for James Cook, but patience is something that everyone is going to have with all rookie running backs. The Bills went 9 of 10 on first down. That is a recipe for success if you want to beat the defending Super Bowl champions. Third down conversion, 9 of 10. And I think the most notable thing with the Bills that we have to talk about is the impact of Von Miller. The Bills as a team had 7 sacks, the most allowed sacks under a Sean McVay Rams team. What did you think of Von Miller's impact last night?
I thought he played dominant like he played when he was with Denver, and then like he played towards the end of last season. And I was the first to say I didn't love the signing for the Rams last year, and it worked out. And then they go pay him big money in Buffalo, and it seems to already be paying dividends. But I don't think we can just gloss over the fact that I put out a video today, obviously with my victory lap about I've been calling it all offseason. This was going to be a blowout. But in that was the episode we talked about, which was power rankings. And I said in that exact episode, I said, I don't think people are talking about the losses on the Rams like they should be, which starts at the offensive line. And their offensive line was terrible. I mean, yes, Von Miller made an impact, but you saw guys getting 2-3 sacks that hadn't even had 5 all of last year. So I think that's, to me, the more glaring issue is when you get guys that are making plays, not just a Von Miller, but you also have Gregory Rousseau who got a sack, and another couple. Jordan Phillips got a sack and a half. Like those players that aren't used to doing it are now coming in on the action, and it does. Again, Basham had the sack. Yes, Buffalo's defense great, but we have to be concerned about the Rams' offensive line, not only because of the sacks, but also because of that running game.
I think we talk about it all the time especially with Aaron Donald last year in the Super Bowl, how even if the player like Von Miller isn't getting sacks, in this game he actually did, even if he's not getting sacks, he could still make an impact on that pass rush where you're getting double teamed and you're taking the attention away from the guys like Gregory Rousseau who ended up getting a sack. It's been huge for them. On the Rams side of things, Matthew Stafford after the game was obviously disappointed, but did not have any fears moving forward with his team.
The one thing that gives me, a good feeling is knowing the guys in that locker room and knowing how we're going to, all band together, look at each other, look inward first and go, hey, what can I do to be better for the guy next to me? That starts with our head coach. He's always preaching that to us, and that's real stuff for us as players. That's how we act, and we believe in that locker room.
Man, my computer is skipping like crazy, but obviously Matthew Stafford after the game very disappointed. But do you think that what do you think the problem is with the Rams? Like, what is the big problem that you're going to be able, like you saw in this game, that you're going to take into games of the future?
Everybody should have just listened to me. Everything I said came to fruition. Offensive line did not play well. I told you I had concerns about Allen Robinson's explosiveness on the outside. They lose an Odell. They don't have Van Jefferson in there. Matt Stafford has tunnel vision for Cooper Kupp, and it won them a Super Bowl, and I am not here to knock that connection. That is great. But the reason he threw so many interceptions and led the league in interceptions last year is because he has tunnel vision for Cooper Kupp. And it's great. He had 13 catches and had a big run at the end to make him have all those yards. But early in the game, it was a lot of dinking and dunking. They weren't letting them get over the top because they had no explosive playmakers. Very, very disappointed in Allen Robinson. Or Matt Stafford for not going to him more. It cannot be this offense. This offense will not go back and repeat. This offense cannot be the same as it was last year down the stretch. People will allow Cooper Kupp to catch 5 and 6 yard passes. And at the end of the day, Cooper Kupp, maybe he does go for another 1,900 yards because teams are going to say, go ahead, catch 12 balls for 86 yards and a touchdown, and nobody else does anything, and you won't win. So there has to be concern for the Rams. I know it's only one game, but the way that Matt Stafford has had tunnel vision for Cooper Kupp over since Odell got hurt in that Super Bowl, it alarms me. He has to go to other guys. Somebody else has to step up. And I don't know what else to say. It's not a knock on Cooper Kupp. It's just you can't just catch 13 balls, 6 yards a catch, whatever, and get a touchdown and expect to beat a good team like the Buffalo Bills. They didn't allow any explosive plays. And that's what Buffalo does. They suffocate you and force you into mistakes because they're not going to give up an 80-yard bomb. They're going to force you to go 80 yards and bet that you're going to make a mistake before one of their defenders do. And that's exactly what happened last night. And the last point I'll make on this game, this was an absolute ass kicking. And I will say that again. I know it was only 17-10. Buffalo had 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers, 3 like early in the game. And it was a 10-10 game. And you tell me an NFL team that has 4 turnovers and wins games. Like, they created turnovers on their own end, but they lost that turnover battle early, and they still looked like the better team from start to finish.
Yeah, they did, and I'm glad you brought up the Cooper Kupp point. I was talking yesterday with some guys about how Cooper Kupp, like how it's with. Obviously, the Bills' defense is great. Like, they have arguably one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL. And I think that this game sure is like, okay, like, chalk it up to losing to a great team, but this Rams team we talked about, it's not about what the regular season means for them. It's about what they do in the playoffs. And these are the type of teams you're going to be playing in the playoffs. So these games do matter and are a telling sign moving forward. I do want to give our little player of the game here for this matchup too. Obviously, Josh Allen with 353 total yards, 4 tutties, a QBR rating of unreal 89, almost not borderline 90 QBR, and that absolute vicious stiff arm that he had early on in the game. Josh Allen. What?
You took the low-hanging fruit there. I thought you were going to go Von Miller.
I did go the low-hanging fruit then, yes. Yeah,
I thought I would have gone Von Miller, I'll be honest. I thought Josh Allen played good. But that's not even the best Josh Allen. That's so scary. That's what I thought he played good. Obviously, a couple of those interceptions were not his fault. Interception was not his fault, but he was late on the throw. He missed a guy a couple of times, but not obviously he played excellent. But yeah, I thought you were going to go Von Miller. I thought the impact that Von Miller had, the fact that you talked about the pass rush needing to step up this year, even more than last year, and that was going to be the key. I thought Von Miller was the pick. But you know what? Josh Allen's a great pick.
I've let you down. I've let you down the week 1, and I'm already letting you down, and it isn't even noon yet on a Friday that we haven't even gotten into. But yeah, so the Bills obviously defeat the Rams 31-10. This is next week's going to be huge for the Rams to have a bounce back game, and the Bills will hopefully continue rolling.